In today's fast-paced world, your business story is key. That's where Gale Force Wins come in. We're not just a service, we're a transformative experience. When you hire Gale Force Wins, something magical happens. Using cutting-edge digital video capture and dissemination techniques, we will tell your story, enhance your image, and increase your visibility. Whether it's on-site at your business or capturing thought leadership at trade shows, we're there, turning every moment into an opportunity. Boost your bottom line, hire Gale Force Wins, where your story is our mission.
Well, it's great to be on another conversation, Gale Force Wins. I always like connecting people who are bringing skills and ideas to the table to a broader audience. I'm Alan Dale. With me, as always, my good buddy, Jerry Carew from the East End of St. John's. How are you making out, Jerry?
Well, I'm doing really well, Alan. I'm looking forward to talking to Rob Ivany. Prior to hitting record, he said he graduated in '93 from the business faculty. Well, guess what, Rob? So did I. We probably were in classes together.
Yeah, you know what? I think I dated myself there, Jerry. I didn't mean to. And it's actually, yeah, it's been a long time.
You guys make quite an impact on each other. You didn't know each other. Anyway, Rob, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, first off, thanks very much for having me again. Really, really excited to be on your show, on your podcast. Yeah, for me, I'm originally from Newfoundland, born and raised in Mount Pearl. Please don't hold that against me. Graduated from MUN in the early 1990s, I think, as we just said, in 1993. And, after graduation, I think there was I kind of followed the path that a lot of folks did at that time, and they believed that their career opportunities lay westward. Mm-hmm. So I packed my bags and settled in Toronto. And in the early years, I worked in the investment industry for a number of years before getting bitten by the technology bug. And being bitten by the technology bug kind of altered my trajectory. And I kind of moved into that space thereafter. And I think since that time, again, a long time, there's been a lot of road traveled. And I think since that time, I've had the good fortune of spending the last 25 years in progressive technology leadership roles. And kind of diverse ones, really, at that. I've had the opportunity to work for an Oscar award-winning software company and multiple Fortune 500 organizations to the Big Five banks. So in those years since leaving Newfoundland, I've covered a lot of ground.
Now, you've taken all that knowledge, Rob, that you gained in Toronto and in those fantastic opportunities that you were given. You're heading back to Atlantic Canada. You're settled in Prince Edward Island. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I think with the advent of COVID, I think a lot of folks' perceptions about physical location and not only that, but I guess kind of physical and mental well-being came into play when you're remote and you don't have human interaction very often or any physical location space. So kind of during the COVID years, actually, maybe to backtrack a little bit, I went independent consulting in 2016. So about 4 or 5 years prior to that, I decided to take kind of the experience that I accumulated in strategic advisory and digital transformation and cybersecurity and all those great things and set off on my own consulting journey. So when COVID came along in 2021, I was really deep into that agenda. I was working for a Big Five bank at the time. And, my wife and I kind of always had the aspiration to move back out east and to find a greater work-life balance. And my goal really with now being situated in Prince Edward Island is I never made it quite full circle. I never made it back to Newfoundland, but I made it almost there. I've got a view of the ocean, which is what counts. So the goal was really I still continue to work in Toronto, but my aspiration is to kind of develop my consulting services here in the Atlantic region, right, in Maritimes and Newfoundland, and kind of leverage the depth and breadth of experience that I've accumulated over those 25 years to help small to enterprise or small to medium-sized enterprise businesses here in the region. I think that I'm used to working with these complex, monolithic organizations, with really deep technology platforms and all those sorts of things, and kind of wanted to kind of take that and again use that knowledge and help and assist SME businesses here in the region.
Rob, it sounds fantastic, and of course, much needed. I mean, there's all kinds of great companies sprouting up all over Atlantic Canada. It's a great time to be in this conversation. In a nutshell, in that that overused phrase, that elevator pitch. What can you offer people as a consultant?
Well, I mean, as a consultant, I think maybe a couple of things. There's a couple of different dimensions to that conversation. I think consulting as a practice, as a service offering, any organization has the ability to go out and leverage one of the big consulting firms, right? We won't mention any of their names, but and with that you get an unmatched depth and breadth of experience and access to expertise, and all those sorts of things. And there's obviously a place, for those organizations. But when you take a look at the small to medium enterprise market, a lot of those organizations operate differently. They operate based on agility. They want a one-to-one focus. They also want the ability to be able to draw on the same level of expertise, but they want it done in a different way. They want a more human-to-human touch point. They don't want teams of individuals invading their premises and volumes and volumes of documentation and things of that nature. So that's where somebody like myself comes in. I bring the same level of expertise in knowledge in a number of different areas, like strategic advisory, whether it be strategic planning, roadmap development, or digital transformation when you're getting into IT modernization and digital platforms and how you can leverage those to assist your businesses. But I offer the same services, again, just on a smaller scale, and probably important to a lot of organizations out there in a much more cost-effective manner. So kind of a different philosophy, but the same level of service.
And a personal connection, which I think will really resonate with a lot of people, particularly now. People want to do business with people, and this is exactly what you described. Any big programs right now that you're working on that are of interest?
Yeah. So I have two real different but related service offerings. So as an independent consultant, I'm open to work with any organization that requires, again, strategic advisory services. They want to understand what a future state of their organization would look like rather, if they employed certain technologies to assist their business, to be more operationally efficient, to unlock new growth, to enter new markets, be more secure. Security in this day and age, in terms of securing your premises, securing your data, your information, your systems. Every organization out there today is vulnerable, and from a from a perception in the marketplace to reputational impacts, everybody needs to consider cybersecurity as part of their standard business processes. So it's kind of working with organizations to do those types of things. Project and program management. So at times there are initiatives that organizations are going to undertake. They need to scale. They need on-demand senior level leadership to come in and help drive and lead a particular program from start to finish. So kind of those are the areas as an independent consultant where I can come in and organizations, big and small, can leverage me in the area. There's also a second stream, which is the Canadian Digital Adoption Program. So the CDAP program, for short, was launched by the federal government in 2020. And the core rationale behind that was to, again, kind of coming out of, I guess, the COVID era, was how small and medium-sized enterprises can leverage digital technology to transform their business and to do those similar things to, take advantage of operational efficiencies and unlock new growth and, new channels of business. So the CDAP program was created by the federal government to do just that. There was $4 billion in funding that was earmarked for this. There were a couple of different streams. The streams that I represent, or the stream rather that I represent, is the Boost Your Business stream. And in that stream, there's an application process where a small and medium-sized business, less than 500 employees, revenues between $500,000 and $100 million. So it's a pretty broad SME category. You apply for a grant, and a grant of up to $15,000, which 90% of it is covered by the federal government. You're assigned a digital advisor, such as myself. That digital advisor works with the enterprise to take a look at their current state, do a discovery on their processes, on their existing technologies, and come up with recommendations of where the employment of digital technologies, and that could be anything. That could be in artificial intelligence, that could be machine learning, that could be cloud applications, digital twin, kind of any number of industry technologies can be brought to bear within the digital adoption plan. And those recommendations are provided to the SME in the form of a plan that they can then take and they can execute. And the follow-on piece to, once they have the digital plan in place, they can apply it to the BDC for a zero interest $100,000 loan in order to be able to execute that plan.
I mean, that sounds like an incredible offering, and certainly opened up to a broad category of people that you say, and also a lot of those are swirling around in Atlantic Canada right now. How do they access you? Like, how do they reach out and get to become part of this?
Yeah, so maybe just to kind of follow on a little bit, in terms of the CDOT program being launched in 2020 and with the $4 billion in funding, we're sitting now in 2024, and at last count, only a fraction of that funding has been allocated. That means that there's an immense envelope of funding that's available to small to medium enterprise level businesses to be able to take advantage of. And I think they haven't taken advantage of it because primarily due to awareness. I don't necessarily think that the program was marketed effectively. Again, here we are in 2024, and probably about 15 to 20% of the funding has only been allocated. So the market opportunity is huge. I think what SMEs need to understand is that this is a high value, low risk proposition to transform your business. You're looking at about a $1,500 investment and a few hours of your staff's time in order to have this invaluable piece of strategy that your business can leverage. So, part of my plan is to create that market awareness that I think is currently deficit. To get the word out there that this is a federally sponsored program, it's at your fingertips. You have digital advisors such as myself who can bring 25 years worth of technology experience in the most complex, heterogeneous environments that there are. Businesses in the region can now access that at a fraction of the cost that it normally would. So I have a website, rtiadvisory.com. I'm on LinkedIn. Please reach out. Let me be your guide through the digital transformation era.
Yeah,
Rob, I just want to jump in there. I've been involved in the digital adoption since 1999, actually. And it amazes me that there's still so many companies that are not jumping on board. The fact that those numbers you just indicated leads me to believe that there's still an enormous number of businesses that need to make this move. What would you say to those businesses? Just get going?
Just get going. So I think if there's any, and maybe this goes back to my earlier comment about kind of maybe trepidation about engaging, consultants, and they're concerned about, the high costs associated with doing that. And then when they end up with a plan, how do they move forward? Maybe the resources that they have to be able to allocate towards executing on this type of agenda, maybe they don't possess those resources. So, but I think what the CDAP plan does is it provides answers to all of those open-ended questions. I just think it's all about taking a leap of faith and understanding again what the program provides, but most importantly, understand what the value proposition is. Again, it's a low risk, low cost entry into a strategy, a plan, an actionable plan. It's not a strategy that's going to sit on somebody's shelf and gather dust. It's an actionable plan that they can execute and make a real definitive impact in their business.
I love the way you describe that. And is it a complicated process to apply, Rob, or is that a pretty straightforward process?
It is a simple, straightforward process. There is a CDAP portal that the company would go on. They do a quick assessment of their business. It's kind of a survey where they're asked questions about their current businesses that they have, or current processes rather that they have, maybe some current technologies that they employ, where they think maybe some of their opportunities, what their goals and objectives are. It's an online assessment. It creates kind of a readiness report in terms of how great their scores would compare against benchmarks of where they should be, and all that kind of translates into how digital transformation can assist them. And then it's a simple matter of selecting an advisor. In this case, they could select me, and then we engage. I engage directly with that organization, create the plan. Once the plan is created, the client uploads that to the CDAP portal. The government will review and approve it, and not usually in typical timelines that you would associate with government processes. Is usually a quick, maybe about a 3 to 4 week turnaround, and then they are compensated with the grant funding.
And Rob, it sounds like a fairly easy conduit in. It sounds like you've got a great personal approach to it and lots of experience here to bring to the table. And it's a great time to be having this conversation. Start of 2024, many SMEs are looking at, okay, what does 2024 and beyond look like for me? This might be just the perfect opportunity to lean into something like this and have a more strategic vision right now.
And again, keep in mind that the window is closing. There is this program ends at the end of 2025.
Right.
So the window, the opportunity that SMEs have in order to capitalize on this, it probably won't be there. Again, it's at the beginning of the year, as you mentioned, Al.
Yeah.
Now is the time to start thinking differently and come to the realization that there's a digital revolution that's out there, and the use of digital technologies is something that isn't going to be, reduced. It's not going to go away. It's going to expand. And when you start to look at even, new technology areas like, artificial intelligence and things of that nature, it's digital technologies are fundamental to running a business. And it's not just businesses within a particular sector. This is applicable to businesses, whether you're in fisheries, whether you're in mining, whether you're an electrical company that wants to be able to manage their customers better. It's applicability to digital transformation is something that applies to everyone. And I think maybe that's a little bit of a hurdle that organizations need to get over as well, to say, well, I only run a small, simple business. I can't see how, digital technologies will assist me. Believe me, there's a use case out there for everyone to leverage this and improve and get better.
Well, you're so right, Rob. I mean, first of all, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. It is, as you say, window closing. There's plenty of funds available right now, so take advantage of them. But I can tell you this, that Jerry and I have learned firsthand in well over 900 conversations across many, many sectors, everything from home care through education, through defense, through seafood processing, and on and on and on it goes. Digitization is a conversation across all sectors, and so very important that people lean into it. Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave the audience with, Rob?
No, I mean, I think we've covered all the bases. Just again, please, that you think that you can improve on, that there are things that you can follow, you can track that are going to improve your business, your bottom line, how you run your business, the teams within your business. Just take a moment to think about that. And then when you think about that, think about the CDAP program and how it can help you.
Thanks, Rob. I just want to say this, that it's been a pleasure talking to you, having been involved in digital adoption program, and that very program that you are talking about in an agency world when I worked there, the ability to actually start moving forward digitally, be it simply doing some digital advertising, that thinking starts to permeate your entire organization. Alan and I, as Alan said, we've done almost 900 conversations. There's multiple organizations out there that have said to us, we've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Well, when you come to Gale Force Wins, we can populate that with 20 videos in a day. And anyway, that thinking really permeates the entire organization. So, Rob, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I really enjoyed being on your show.
In today's fast-paced world, your business story is key. That's where Gale Force Wins come in. We're not just a service, we're a transformative experience. When you hire Gale Force Wins, something magical happens. Using cutting-edge digital video capture and dissemination techniques, we will tell your story, enhance your image, and increase your visibility. Whether it's on-site at your business or capturing thought leadership at trade shows, we're there, turning every moment into an opportunity. Boost your bottom line, hire Gale Force Wins, where your story is our mission.